In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week. And now, it's time to put some good in your morning. The good news brought to you by Almar Home Improvements. 519-351-5666.
And a truly international story. This is a great story of longevity.
The world's oldest pen pals just both turned 100 years old. And they've been sending letters across the Atlantic Ocean to each other for 80 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so Jeff lives in England. Celeste lives in the U.S. from New Jersey. And they started writing to each other in 1938 when they were only 16 years old.
Unbelievable. So they were paired up by an educational project all those years ago that sought to connect British and American students. It was far more difficult to do that 80 plus years ago. 84 years later, they're still corresponding. Jeff said, somehow I ended up with this letter from an American girl, and we just kept writing ever since. So former engineer kept in touch during World War II while he was serving as a mechanic on the British aircraft carrier in the Pacific Ocean. They began using email a while back, of course, far later than when they started talking. And to give Jeff a break from putting pen to paper, which became difficult, recently they had their first Zoom call as well. So they've kept up with technology.
And despite having been pen pals for decades, actually 6 years longer than the current Guinness World Record of 78 years, they only met for the first time in 2002. Jeff was in New York City for Christmas, and then they met a second time 2 years later when he was over in the U.S. again, and he stopped by her home in New Jersey.
Guinness World Record holder.
Yeah. So
Wow.
now I think this is the new record. So, and here's the thing, though. Despite having this very unique relationship, it's never been romantic. They've always just been friends.
Just platonic.
Yeah. So Jeff's wife unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but I think it's just, something for him to look forward to.
And Jeff relies on younger people to assist him in setting up a chat with her, saying this new thing called Zoom. But I guess it is relatively new if he's 100 and Zoom has only been kind of around 3 or 4 years. Celeste still does the same thing from her new residence in Texas, where she moved to be close to family. So just an amazing story. They've known each other for so very long now. 100 years old, 80 years of setting lenders internationally. Good news story. With Almar Home Improvements, you can always read past stories at country929.com. For a long time, they're saying, drink water, drink water, drink water. And they're right. But there's always been that magical formula for decades saying 8 ounce glasses of water a day. So that's like the magical formula. And a lot of people didn't really know why they came up with that number. And now we're kind of scratching our head saying that might not be true.
Yeah, there's this new study that says there's really no easy way to sort of figure out just how much water you need to drink. So they looked at the water intake and patterns of more than 5,000 people in 26 different countries. And they found that how much water your body actually needs really depends on a number of factors, including, your environment, where you're living, your health, and also your age.
And so this is some big-time science. It was actually in the journal called Science, found that the daily average of optimal water consumption ranges anywhere between 1 liter per day and 6 liters per day, depending on the person. That's a wide swath.
Yeah, that is a big range.
So if you're trying to come up with a guideline, that's almost impossible.
Yeah, so they say they really found that age, body size, your physical activity level, athletic status, and pregnancy all had a big impact on how much water you would need on a daily basis. And they say physical activity, that made up the biggest difference. So someone who's very active, who is sweating out a lot, of course, you're going to need to drink a lot more water than someone who is maybe not so active.
Plus, in a lot of your foods, made of water right there. You get water intake there. So how much of that factors into how much water you have in a day, too. So
yeah, like in the summer versus the winter when you're sweating a lot more.
Right.
Makes a big difference.
So many variables. So again, I guess we don't have to stick with the hard and fast 64 ounces of water a day. Just get as much as you can. Part of me would try this. Part of me thinks it's revolting. We'll see which one wins out. The friends at Hellman's And Best Foods Mayonnaise want you to try something this Christmas and holiday season. I love eggnog.
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of eggnog?
No.
So you probably wouldn't be a fan of mayonnaise in your eggnog then.
Whoa.
Cheryl will be with us in a few minutes. She has to go somewhere. Eggs are the third ingredient in mayonnaise, and they claim it works even better than egg yolks for your eggnog. They're selling a blended version called Frozen Mayonnaise at a place in New York later on this month. It hits the menu at a bar, Amy Fontaine's, December 15th. They're going to try this out. For everyone else not at Amy Fontaine's in New York, they posted the recipe so you can conveniently make the mayonnaise-laden eggnog yourself.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to bring in these ingredients for you. We've got 4 teaspoons of mayonnaise, along with milk, heavy cream, simple syrup, a little nutmeg, vanilla extract, and cinnamon. Plus, you can add alcohol as well, rum, brandy, or cognac.
If you bring the stuff in, I will try it.
I don't think I have any of that. Maybe some mayonnaise?
I don't have it.
I'm just looking at all the ingredients. I might have mayonnaise. I don't think I have anything else because I'm not an eggnog person. Now, could I just buy a carton of eggnog and we just add some mayo to it? And
I'm sure many people...
I would have to bring a blender in too. That's the issue.
This is getting to be a lot of work.
Exactly.
And potentially messy. So,
and I feel like you'd have to, it's not like I could pre-make it and bring it to you. I feel like you have to blend it. I feel like it would separate.
It has to be kind of a homemade, start from scratch kind of thing. So
just keep stirring it. Keep stirring it.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the traditional version of eggnog. Thanks, Hellman's and Best Foods Mayonnaise. We talked about the debate earlier this week. I think it was a question today with real or artificial Christmas trees. Most people going with artificial these days from our poll. But if you're out there this week, maybe you're looking for that perfect real tree. A lot of people still like that, the nice scent of the real Christmas tree and the whole experience. There's actually a formula out there now of the perfect Christmas tree. If you're looking for that 6-foot real Christmas tree to bring home, people in the UK have determined what the perfect tree is.
You will need exactly 37 ornaments and an angel that is 7 inches tall.
Like precisely.
That is the formula for decorating the perfect Christmas tree, at least according to the students at Sheffield University over in the UK. And they also say a 6-foot tree would need 18 feet and 9 inches of lights. Very specific.
Yeah.
No, don't give me 19 feet.
Too much.
18 feet, 9 inches. And 30 feet of tinsel. Personally, I'm not a tinsel on tree person.
Yeah.
I put ribbon in.
We haven't had tinsel years and years and years.
Cleaning up tinsel is a pain in the butt.
Right?
I think that's why.
Especially if you have cats, because then it's game over.
Nom, 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 nom.
It's game over.
Just going to eat it.
I'd love to be on that committee. I need you to determine what the perfect Christmas tree would be and come up with precise numbers.
I can tell you right now, well, my Christmas tree is more than 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
But I have way more than 37 ornaments on it, let me tell you.
Well, you accumulate ornaments over years, right?
Yeah. I have all my sentimental ones and, fun ones. And then I have, you have the filler, the balls and stuff all over the place.
So if you're looking for a task, you can go through those dimensions according to the people in the UK. 6-foot Christmas tree, 37 ornaments, no more, no less. And that angel has to be exactly 7 inches high. Take that as you will.
So precise.
Right, exactly. We're firmly into cold and flu season. My kids have had certainly sniffles the last couple of weeks off and on. So here we are.
Well, and I was sick a couple weeks ago, as was Dave.
Yeah, so it's going around.
Yeah, but even though germs are around all the time, year round, why do we always seem to get sick with colds, flus, now COVID? When it's cold outside, well, scientists think they have finally figured it out.
Biological reason we get more sick often during the winter. It turns out cold air hurts the immune response occurring in the nose. Look into the nose. Keep it warm this time of year. Reducing the temperature inside the nose by as little as 5 degrees Celsius or 9 degrees Fahrenheit kills nearly half of the billions of virus and bacteria fighting cells in the nostril. So temperature has a lot to do with it.
So apparently the warmer you can keep the inside of your nose, the better your immune system is at fighting off the germs.
So maybe, get those balaclavas out, get those masks out just for the cold weather.
You know what? There's been times where I'm walking the dog and, it's always windy here in Chatham, Kent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to put my mask on because it keeps my face warm in the winter.
I should love them
And
this time of year.
She's going to keep my nose warm, so good to know.
So it's mostly about the temperature of the nose. So keep that in mind as we head to the next 3 or 4 months.
Now is the time.
And now it's time for...
Are you kidding me?
Sick days and sick policies certainly have changed in the last 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yeah, thanks to COVID. And I mean, the fact that how many people are getting sick right now.
With a whole bunch of different things.
You know, I was off there for like a week or so.
Yeah.
Being sick. You know, you get COVID, you're off for a while. But this one manager at an Olive Garden down in Kansas was apparently a little too upset that some of her employees were calling in sick. And she'd sent a long email out threatening to fire anyone who called in sick more than once a month.
She started by saying, quote, call-offs are occurring at a staggering rate. From now on, if you call off, meaning if you call in sick, you might as well go out and look for another job. We are no longer tolerating any excuse for calling off.
Even if you're sick?
Even if you're sick. So she said, quote, she went on to say, this is really where it really ramped up. If you're sick, you need to come prove it to us. If your dog died, you need to bring him in and prove it to us. That's where it got a little bit nuts for this.
The face I'm making right now is like, what?
Kansas Olive Garden manager. She has had enough of people calling in sick, apparently, and she's gone over the edge.
Yeah, apparently she says if you call out more than once the next 30 days, you will not have a job. And then bragged about how she's never called in sick in 11 years, even when she was actually sick, which when you work in the food service industry, I feel like coming into work sick is really not a good thing.
It's a poor choice.
Yes.
A lot of people online are taking her side, and people do think people lie a lot about taking sick days. But Olive Garden put out a statement and said they've already fired her for it.
Yeah, because there's one way to sort of approach, like, hey, we've been getting a lot of call-outs for people being sick. And, you know, there's a professional way to do it. This was not it. This was not the way.
She had zero compassion. She also went on to say if it's a family emergency and you can't say, well, too bad, go work somewhere else. If you only want morning shifts, too bad, go work at a bank. That's what the manager went on to say. She's now gone. The company said, quote, we strive to provide a caring and respectful work environment for our team members.
Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah, no, that is not it for this person. This message is not aligned with our company values. We can confirm we have parted ways with this manager. Probably a decent thing there. And a Calgary man had unwanted online charges to his account. It was a PlayStation account because his 1-year-old dog decided to chew on his PlayStation controller, which triggered the purchases. You know, with the X button.
Yeah.
I guess it was just situated on the purchase button. And it went over and over and over.
David Murphy says his puppy Zoe was gnawing on it, and the charges just started racking up.
I have a 1-year-old lab shepherd and who likes to get into things or left alone. So this all started with things being very quiet. So I went to check on her and she had did a number on one of my PlayStation controllers. I go back to my desk and I get these email alerts start popping up. Thank you for your purchase. And I go on with support and they're like, yeah, sir, this was ordered from your console. They confirmed the serial number. I'm like, this is impossible. It's just me and my dog here.
Ironically, it was for a game called Watch Dogs. There's only about $8 on the charges by the time he noticed what was going on. It had add-ons for the game, but he figured out what was going on, and given the bizarre circumstances, he called up PlayStation, the Sony company, and they agreed to refund the purchases, saying, hey, my dog literally ate the controller. The old adage, my dog ate my homework.
Oh, what a story.
Actually worked out okay. So he got his money back, but he now promises to take better care of his belongings and out of the reach of the dog.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.